Never Forgotten by Patricia McKissick. 1725, Old Mali in the Sahel, West Africa. Beware the drums speak a single message, a warning. Beware of pale men riding in large seabirds with great white wings. Beware of men with the blue of the sky in their eyes, who steal upriver through the great forest mists and into the savannah lands in search of slaves. Us, beware. Hear the moans and groans of their captives, hundreds, thousands stolen. We rarely speak of the taken, but I will just once because you asked. Dinga the blacksmith. Back, back, back at the far edge of memory, we recall a Mende blacksmith Dinga. By all accounts, a master craftsman, an artisan worthy of praise, honored as a powerful magician, one who could speak the old names of the mother elements, earth, fire, water, wind. And they would do his bidding, Dinga. People sang praise songs to him. Listen. Though Dinga was a gifted blacksmith, first among the first, he is remembered best for being a loving father. When Dinga's beloved wife of only a year died giving birth, Dinga put away his sorrow and embraced his newborn son. I will raise you myself, he declared. The elder women of his village argued against it, saying, he will grow up wild without the gentle hand of a mother to guide him. You must abide by custom, take another wife, or give the baby to a woman who is childless. But Dinga could not be persuaded. How will you feed the baby? The women argued. You have no milk to give. Still, Dinga would not change his mind. The tortoise does not have milk to give, but it knows how to take care of its young, he replied. Then, shamelessly, he tied the baby on his back like a woman and headed for his forage. Mustafa. The years passed in a march of seasons. The boy grew tall and strong under the loving eyes of his father and the protective forces of the mother elements, who were his teachers, his counselors, his friends. He loved debating an idea with fire, laughing with water, resting in the hollow of Earth's arms. But most of all, Mustafa enjoyed running freely through the tall grasses with wind. Even the village women had to admit that Dinga had done a good job of raising his child. Beware drums, war drums. Dingo against Wolof, Yoruba against Ashanti, the foreigners against all, bloodshed, violence, chaos. The drum spoke of treachery. Dinga heard the drum song, but it was far away and had nothing to do with him, so he didn't worry. He wasn't careful. Time, Mustafa took his place beside Dinga as a blacksmith's apprentice. You are the 8th generation of our clan to wield a hammer, said Dinga proudly. Mustafa wanted to be as good as his father expected, but no matter how hard he tried, his work was uninspired. His spear blades were unbalanced, and his tools were brittle. Still, he had a knack for shaping scraps of metal into exact copies of whatever caught his eye: a creeping caterpillar, a sleeping crocodile, a tick bird, a stand of savanna grass. Mustafa makes pretty things, yes, but useless, Dinga complained to the mother elements. All he needs is time, said fire. Be patient, said earth. One day his hammer will find a song, water added. And so Dinga allowed Mustafa to continue hammering out beautifully decorated, useless objects. Gone. One morning, Dinga sent Mustafa into the bush for brushwood. It wasn't too far. It shouldn't have taken too long. When Mustafa did not return, Dinga thought, oh, he must be running with the wind again, rather than doing his chores. Then darkness came, and Dinga grew anxious. He searched for Mustafa in all his favorite places. Nothing. Where are you, boy? Where? Where? Dinga asked the villagers to help search. He called his child's name again and again. Mustafa, answer me now. This is no time to tease. fear overtook Dinga, and he cried out, "My son, if you hear me, please answer." Searching along the road, Dinga found a small leather pouch. He had made it for Musafa, and the boy would never have parted with it. Agony. I should have gathered the wood myself. I should not have sent him alone. I should not have. Dinga tore his clothes and threw dirt on his head as a sign of great sorrow. Water's Tale. A large sea creature led me to the silver star. Its belly bulged with children snatched from Mother Africa's arms. They screamed curses in a tangle of languages, prayed to God, Allah, and ocean. Death was the captain of that ship, suffering an apt first mate, cruelty the crew. Captives too many to count died, some by choice. So many perished. Sharks followed behind the ship in anticipation of a grisly meal. Yet I heard a single voice singing above the din. It was not a joyful song or a carol of glee, but a battle of defiance. It was Musafa. The drumbeat has changed. We must change our dance. Stop crying, be stubborn, refuse to die, live. And even though many of the fellow captives could not understand his language, they were comforted. That terrible journey across the big water, the Middle Passage, ended in the Caribbean islands. I stayed near the docks to hear word of Musafa's fate. I heard that the captives were sold in the marketplaces along with cattle and cane. Slaves, naked and filthy, sold to the Grange plantation in Jamaica, hungry and weak, sold to the St. Lucia plantation in Cuba, sick and diseased, sold to the Charlock plantation in Carolina. Musafa, sold. See him no more, hear him no more. So saddened by what she had to report, water melted into the river where her tears flooded the shore. Taken, all living in the Americas, I saw the taken shackled to the land from sun up to sundown, working tobacco, sugarcane, cotton, and rice fields. I visited the grand house that their hands helped build. I listened to them sing and tell stories, different but strangely familiar. Led by the sound of a blacksmith's hammer, I traveled to Charleston, South Carolina, to a simple shop with a shingle, John Shannon, blacksmith. A large European with red hair and beard stood at the forge, comfortable among his tools, tongs, fullers, swags, hardies. They were apprentices, all Africans, working on pieces, both new and old at the same time, familiar yet fresh. Then Blacksmith Shannon said, "Moses, I have sold another of your beautiful gates in the wild rice design. How did you learn to craft so well?" A young man stepped into the light. "I learned by reaching back with one hand and stretching forward with the other," he said. "People say you are a genius," said Blacksmith Shannon. "My father, Dinga, was the genius," replied the apprentice. "He taught me what 7 generations had learned. I am the 8th. I had found Musafa, our Musafa, who answers now to Moses Shannon, Musafa, Moses, which means saved through the water. He seems more confident at the forge now, wiser. Yet I also saw in his eyes the playful Musafa we remember. I heard someone tell Moses, "Blacksmith Shannon is going to free you one day soon." And to my joy, I heard Musafa whisper, "In my mind, I have always been free as wind."